is that a bit like spirituality? A lot of people talk to me about spirituality.
Right.
I still don't know what it actually means. Like, I keep asking them, what do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have spiritual feelings.
Right.
And I wouldn't try to deny that those spiritual feelings are real to them. But it doesn't entirely translate. I can't, just because somebody else has a spiritual feeling doesn't mean that I would have that spiritual feeling. I tend to be kind of physics pulled, which is like if something has predictive value, then I'll pay more attention to it than if it doesn't have predictive value.
Right.
Physics, I would say, is the study of that which has predictive value. I think it's a pretty good definition.
My primary job, Elon, is a stock broker and stock investor.
Okay.
There is no predictive value. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow.
Well, but I think you can generally say, that if it's long term for a company, then you can say like, well, do you like the products or services of that company, and is it likely to? Do you like the product roadmap? Do you like? It seems like they make great products, and they're likely to make great products in the future. If that's the case, then I would say that's probably a good company to invest in. And I think you also want to believe in the team. So if you say, well, that's a talented and hardworking team. They make good products today. They seem to be still motivated to make things in the future. Then I'd say that's a good company to invest in.
Fair point.
Yeah, and now that won't solve for the daily fluctuations, which happen and sometimes are pretty extreme. But over time, that is the right way to invest in stocks, because a company is just a group of people assembled to create products and services. So you have to say, well, how good are those products and services? Are they likely to continue to improve in the future? If so, then you should buy the stock of that company, and then don't worry too much about the daily fluctuations.
Right. What's got you most excited now, Elon, in terms of all that you're building? You're doing so much. So let me just preface and contextualize who is watching this. Our audience is largely wannabe entrepreneurs in India.
Okay.
Really ambitious, really hungry, want to take the risk and build something. And I feel like all of us have so much to learn from you because you've done it so many times over in so many different domains.
Yeah.
So we will speak to them today, and I will try and center all my questions in that direction so they can take advantage of this conversation and maybe take a chance and build something.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess the most important thing to do is just make useful products and services.
Which one of all the products and services that you're building has got you most excited today?
Well, I think that there's increasingly a convergence actually between SpaceX and Tesla and XAI. In that if the future is solar-powered AI satellites, which it pretty much needs to be in order to harness a non-trivial amount of the energy of the sun, you have to move to solar-powered AI satellites in deep space, which somewhat is a confluence of Tesla expertise and SpaceX expertise, and XAI on the AI front. So it does feel like over time there's somewhat of a convergence there. But all the companies are doing great things. Very proud of the teams. They do great work. So we're making great progress with Tesla on the autonomous driving. I don't know if you've tried the self-driving. Mm-hmm. Have you tried it?
I've tried it in the Waymo, not in the Tesla.
Yeah, it's worth trying. We actually have it here in Austin, so you can.
I'd love to try it.
You can literally just download the Tesla app. Yeah. And I think it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
Definitely try it out. I mean, let me know how it goes. But we've made a lot of progress with electric vehicles, with battery packs and solar, and very much so with self-driving. So basically, real-world AI. Tesla is the world leader in real-world AI, I would say. So, and then we're going to be making this robot Optimus, which is, starting production hopefully summer next year, at scale. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. That'll be like, I think everyone's going to want their own personal C-3PO, R2-D2, helper robot. Like, it would be pretty cool. And then SpaceX is doing great work with the Starlink program, providing low-cost, reliable internet throughout the world. Hopefully India. So we'd love to be operating in India. That would be great. We're operating in 150 different countries now with Starlink.
Can you give me a bit about Starlink and how the tech works? Because somebody I was speaking to, I don't know if you know this company called Meter out of San Francisco. They're trying to replace network engineers. But
don't know it now.
So he was telling me about how in densely populated areas, Starlink works differently than it might be in a place with not as many people. Can you explain how it works?
Yeah, so Starlink, there's several thousand satellites in low Earth orbit, and they're moving around 25 times the speed of sound in these, they're zipping around the Earth, basically. And they're at an altitude of about 550 kilometers, which is called generally low Earth orbit. Because they're at low Earth orbit, the latency is low. Like the distance, because the distance is not that far compared to a geostationary satellite, 36,000 kilometers. So you've got thousands of satellites providing low latency, high-speed internet throughout the world, and they are interconnected as well. So there are laser links between the satellites, so it forms sort of a laser mesh, so that if let's say if cables are damaged or cut, like fiber cables, the satellites can communicate between each other and provide connectivity even if the cables are cut. So, for example, when the Red Sea cables were cut, I think a few months ago, the Starlink satellite network continued to function without a hitch. So it's particularly helpful for disaster areas. So if an area has been hit with some kind of natural disaster, floods or fires or earthquakes, that tends to damage the ground infrastructure. But the Starlink satellites still work. So, and generally whenever there's some sort of natural disaster somewhere, we always provide people with free Starlink internet connectivity. We don't want to charge, we don't take advantage of a tragic situation. So, always, if there's natural disasters, we're like, okay, it's free during the natural disaster. We don't want to say like, put a paywall up while somebody's trying to get help. That would be wrong. So it's a very robust system. It's complementary to ground systems because the satellite beams work best in sparsely populated areas, but because you've got a satellite beam, it's a pretty big beam, so you have a fixed number of users per beam. So it tends to be very complementary to the ground-based cellular systems because those are very good in cities because you've got these cell towers that are only a kilometer apart type of thing, but cell towers tend to be inefficient in the countryside. So in rural areas is where you tend to have the worst internet because it's very very expensive and difficult to do all the fiber optic cables, or to have high bandwidth cellular towers. So Starlink is very complementary to the existing telecom companies. It basically tends to serve the least served, which I think is good.
Will that change tomorrow? Like today, as you explained, the beam is quite broad and it can't work in a densely populated area with high buildings maybe. But can that change and tomorrow it becomes really efficient in a densely populated city where it is competitive with the local network providers?
It's unfortunately, so the physics don't allow for that. So we're too far away. So at 550 kilometers, and even if we try to reduce it, which about as low as we can go is about 350 kilometers, still very far away. You can think of like a flashlight, which is, that flashlight's got a cone, and that cone is coming at, today 550 kilometers. In the future, we're trying to get down to 350 kilometers, but we can't beat something that's 1 kilometer away, which the cell tower physics is not on our side here.
Right.
So it's not physically possible for Starlink to serve densely populated cities. Like, you can serve a little bit, maybe 1% of the population. And sometimes people get, even in crowded cities, there might be, no fiber link up their road. Like sometimes somebody's on a cul-de-sac or something, or in a place in cities, there's sometimes underserved areas for random reasons. And so Starlink can serve, like I said, maybe 1% or 2% of a densely populated city. But it can be much more effective in, like I said, in rural areas where the internet connection is much worse. And often people either have sometimes no access to internet, or it's extremely expensive, or the quality is not very good. So,
if I were to ask you to wager a guess, Elon, do you think India will go down the path of urbanization like China did, with more people moving in from rural economies to urban centers? Or do you think we'll beat the
I
trend?
suppose some amount of that has happened, right? I'm curious to sort of ask you some questions as well. Because of course, isn't that the trend, or is it not the trend in India?
It is the trend largely.
Okay.
I think a little bit changed during COVID when a lot of urbanization slowed down, and that was not organic. It was very artificially manifested.
Right.